Good afternoon and welcome to CVM Live, the noon edition on CVM Television, online at cvmtv.com. And remember, you can download our CVM TV Smart app from the Google Play Store and the App Store. I'm Whitney Levy. We begin with a developing story. The Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Branch CTOC made a major ganja find this morning, compressed ganja weighing over 2,000 pounds. Acting on information, the lawmen went to premises on West Cumberland in Portmore. A search was conducted and brown packages were discovered. It was later revealed they contained compressed ganja. A man has so far been taken into custody for the find. An estimate is yet to be determined. We will have more on CVM Live, the evening edition. Exploring the nexus between technology, research and governance, Prime Minister Andrew Holness was pointed in delivering his message at the 9th annual MSBM CEO breakfast. CVM's Joel Crossgill reports.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who was the keynote speaker at the 9th annual Mona School of Business MSBM CEO Breakfast Forum, described one of the initiatives that his government is seeking to implement to bring governance in Jamaica into the 21st century.
I've given a directive to the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology that they must provide our ministers with a secure instrument, probably like this one, and the software and the network behind it to deliver our cabinet papers. I'm expecting that by the end of the year, the cabinet papers will be delivered electronically.
The 2018 edition of the MSBM Roundtable, held in collaboration with Jamaica Stock Exchange, explored the pivotal role of digital transformation and offered insights on leveraging digital technologies.
I want you to contemplate for a moment that all that has been said about the future and where the technology is going, we have not said that our democracy will be digitized and digitalized. The truth is that within less than a decade, you probably will have more democracies going online. And that will just radically change everything.
The Prime Minister recommended the planned implementation of the NIDS as another example of Jamaica modernizing its democracy. Joel Crossgill, CVM Live.
The latest crime statistics from the police show Jamaica's murder rate continuing to trend down. As CVM's Vaughan Thorpe reports, the National Security Minister Horace Chang, comforted by the positive trend, credited the state of emergencies declared.
Security Minister Horace Chang says he feels better that the figures of homicide recorded by the JCF has taken a downward trend.
The trends have been encouraging. In the era from May to June, in fact, we actually dropped by about 53%, if you looked at the actual figures. The situation in Montego Bay, where we introduced a special state of emergency, we are down by about 60%.
Given those figures, the minister is reassuring the public that maintaining public order is achievable. However, he felt the need to explain how crime has affected the country's economic growth, citing data emanating from the United Nations.
As a body, indicate that crime is costing Jamaica about 5.5% of GDP. We have as a country set a target of 5% growth, 5 and 4. What is saying to you, although we are looking this year to get 2.5% growth and begin the trend upwards, and many of the economists and the bankers and so will tell you that 5% look very distant. If we in fact can take crime down dramatically, you could achieve that growth target very quickly.
The minister noted that the zone of special operations and the state of emergencies have contributed to the downward trajectory. Going forward, the minister says he will see to the altering and implementing of certain legislations to continue the positive trend.
There are things like the use of interception, electronics in many ways, not only in terms of evidence, but in terms of monitoring society. Anybody who travels will know that even in the United Kingdom today, which is supposed to be the model of modern policing and decency in terms of policing, you have cameras on almost every street.
The minister was speaking at a Rotary Club meeting held at the Pegasus on Thursday. Vaughn Thorpe reporting for CVM Live.
Transport Minister Robert Montague is urging individuals in the Transport Ministry to exercise the highest level of professionalism when carrying out their duties.
Everybody can have their own political opinion, but when you work with the Transport Authority, you keep that to yourself till after 5 o'clock. Politics must not enter into the discharge of your duty to the people.
The Transport Minister says that so far 16 proposals have been tabled to transform the public passenger transport industry. Montague also says persons will be given the opportunity to voice their opinion on the proposals in a series of consultations and discussion over the next 6 months.
You may not agree with the 16 points we have placed on the table. It is your right or anybody's right to criticize them. But you must not only criticize them as a Jamaican, you must also put an alternative on the table. Because we all agree that the situation cannot continue as it is.
The minister says changes in the industry must be embraced, and he's encouraging industry players to do the same.
The industry we work in is not serving the people of Jamaica 100%. And change has to come. A lot of people don't like change because we get into a groove and we feel comfortable. Well, this is one minister that likes change, because if you don't make changes, it means you're dead.
Montague was speaking at a Transport Authority staff buses handing over ceremony recently. Following a tragic incident which took place at the Anchovy Primary in St. James that led to the death of a 7-year-old grade 2 student, his mother has come forward claiming that she was the only breadwinner in her child's life.
It is a case of an alleged absentee father and a child who barely knew him. Wendy Mellis, mother of Easton Stapleton Jr., says it is time the public knows the truth surrounding Easton Stapleton Sr.'s relationship with their deceased son. She says after she became pregnant, Mr. Stapleton traveled to Mexico, where he was imprisoned for 3 years. But that's not the entire story.
Then he went to prison again, meet the child when the child is 6 years old. Leave to prison again, just meeting the child 2 months ago.
Wendy says Mr. Stapleton has now started rumors that she was mentally unfit to care for their child, which she alleges is an attempt by him to profit from his son's death.
Said he wants to sue the school, he wants to sue the ministry, he wants to sue the teacher. And he's going to be rich this year. And he's going to be rich this year. But I think the main reason for that is because when he just come back the other day from prison, the government sees all his documents and his assets. So I think that is the reason why he's want to go at the school and the teachers.
Miss Mellis says Mr. Stapleton had asked her to move in with him, but she refused. She took it a step further by taking out a restraining order that has since expired.
When he bring me to the family court for custody, the judge gave him visitation rights, like he was supposed to go by his father every other weekend and Friday evening, and he bring him back on Sunday evening. But he have only come for the child like 4 times. If he comes to pick him up and I am not there, he no worry, bring him down, he leave him, and when he's coming back, he don't give him any money, few synax.
Melly says Mr. Stapleton was never maintaining their son, and even though she took out a summons, the police could never locate him, it's alleged. Efforts to contact Mr. Stapleton Sr. proved futile. Khadija Thomas, CVM Live.
CVM Live was able to make contact with Mr. Stapleton, who has denied Miss Melly's claims, saying he maintained a consistent presence in the child's life, despite being absent for the first 3 years. He went on to say during those years he made adequate provisions to ensure he received the requisite care. The country's only medical facility that offers exclusive care to children, the Bustamante Hospital, has greatly improved on one of its facilities that offers critical care. With that, we join our reporter, Vaughan Thorpe.
After several weeks of renovation, the Bustamante Hospital for Children opened the doors to its newly renovated isolation facility to better treat patients with infectious diseases. The ward, which caters to children, is not only expected to improve the services of the hospital, but will have a positive impact on staff. The scope of the renovation, undertaken by the Kingston and the St. Andrew Municipal Corporation under the patronage of Kingston Mayor Delroy Williams, included installation of plumbing and electrical works, installation of air conditioning units, among other things. However, more needs to be done, the mayor added, and will be done in phases.
It's fine now, it's okay, but we can improve it and bring it to higher standards, where nurses and the children who come here can feel, far more better than they are now, even though as it operates now, it's decent.
And to further improve the country's pediatric and adolescent care, Health Minister Christopher Tufton disclosed some of his ministry's plans.
Less than a month, breaking ground for an expansion under the PROMAC program, which will see additional facilities being developed, infrastructure. Similarly, so in a few months' time, our cath lab will be open to support the most modern pediatric cardiac care facility in the Caribbean, not just in Jamaica.
Minister Tufton also underscored intention to extend similar projects to the western part of Jamaica.
We'll be breaking ground in the western part of the country at Cornwall Regional for a brand new $43 million pediatric and adolescent hospital on the grounds of the Cornwall Regional Hospital. A 250-bed facility when it's completed in 2 years or so.
Vaughan Thorpe, CVM Live.
Of the Council of Voluntary Social Services Summer Games are expecting a very exciting day of competition for this year's 12th staging of the championship, set for July 7 at the University of the West Indies.
Because the event has a very competitive part of it in terms of developing the athletes themselves, we'll be having those track and field events, and also we're having fun events that are sometimes more competitive than what happens on the track in terms of the tug of war, lime and spoon, etc., particularly because of the age group that we're catering for. So we expect to have a very fun-filled day of activities.
We're really happy that the CVSS Summer Games is very specifically targeted towards young people. As you know, we have a very vibrant youth sector which plans and executes the annual Summer Games. And really it's for the exposure of hidden talents and an opportunity for children to participate and compete in a harmonious and non-threatening environment.
This year's championship will be held under the theme Feeling the United Spirit of Sport, and it has attracted several corporate sponsors, national, the Usain Bolt Foundation and the Sports Development Foundation.
This particular event is very special, very dear to the Sports Development Foundation. The fact is that it goes to the core of the Jamaican society. And when you do that, I think I said at the last occasion that how you treat those who are least able to care for themselves is what indicates where the heart and soul of your society is. And the CVSS is leading the way as far as that is concerned.
One of the major success of the Games since its inception, Barrington Mitchell, who first competed at the Games when he was 6 years old.
For me, this entire journey has been important, from merely being a part of the Mount Olivet Boys Home to now training at the Racers Track Club, and has inspired to be a professional athlete. It was in 2004 at age 6 that I went to the home and meet Mr. Patrick Newman, who encouraged me to participate in the CVSS Summer Games. And I participated for several years until I left the home in 2017.
So in attendance was JOA boss Christopher Samuda, who reminded those in attendance about the value of sports and its importance to the country.
At the heart of the text, however, as we all know, is education, which is central to your engagement, CVSS, and the services you provide. Your Summer Games is a sporting event, but it is also an experience.
And that's it for CVM Live, the noon edition. CVM Live, the evening edition, is on at 7:30. But just ahead of that, we'll tell you what's coming up at 6:30. The CVM Live Say What question will be on screen and social media at 2 p.m. today, so you can send in your video responses.